We predict the San Francisco 49ers versus Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl matchup. It's like Brady. Like, are you really going to pick against Brady?
Exactly.
Or are you going to really pick against Mahomes? And I've been picking against Mahomes, the last 2 games. And I haven't learned my lesson. We also discuss how the Joel Embiid injury will affect the Philadelphia 76ers.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the BTR podcast.
Before we get started, please like, comment, subscribe.
As always, make sure you guys follow our socials link down below. Audio listeners, rate, review, download the podcast wherever you guys listen to it. Before we continue, we dropped a special video about the OKC Thunder. OKC fans, you guys will love this video. So make sure you guys watch it already. It's a hit so far. It's a lot of support. We got some subscribers out of it. We're 5 away also from 400. So check out the video and hit that subscribe button. Like, comment, and subscribe as well. Get us to 400 by the next pod.
Exactly.
Literally by the next pod.
But yeah.
Let's just get right into it otherwise.
Super Bowl weekend. Our time has come for our predictions.
Our second last NFL leading pod till free agency, I guess. And then the draft.
Yeah. But we've been obviously delaying our Super Bowl because there's 2 weeks rest in between the championship games. And we're saving it for this pod. And the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers are duking it in Las Vegas.
Allegiant Stadium.
So what team you want to start off with first?
Which one do you wanna? I don't know.
No, I'd asked you.
Let's go. Okay, fine. Let's get a San Francisco.
All right, San Francisco. Probably coming first, 6 weeks of the year. Clearly the number 1 team in the NFL. Until they weren't. 3-game losing streak. Brock Purdy looked hurt and was playing poorly. But then they got out of that, and then apart from one Ravens game, they looked dominant again. Throughout the playoffs, it was quite opposite story. All their wins in the regular season were pretty dominant. All their wins in the playoffs were comeback, claw themselves out of, dig themselves out of the hole they put themselves in, and they managed to beat the Packers and the Lions. So they've shown they won in multiple ways this year. Yeah.
Okay. No, I thought you were continuing. That's why, my bad. They have done that. I think that's best for them. But the problem is this may not work this game because this Chiefs defense is way better than the Packers defense and the Lions defense. Offensively, though, by the way, during the press conferences, Brock Purdy did say that he will take his skill position players, but instead of him, he's gonna take Josh Allen. So he's keeping it real.
Yeah.
But no, eyes are going to be on Brock Purdy because of the whole conversation. He's a passenger, not the guy. I say he's in the middle. I don't know how best you could describe that because, Patrick Mahomes had weapons in his first Super Bowl run or his first playoff run. No one's saying that, he wasn't like that, blah, blah, blah. They're saying that because this guy isn't Mr. Irrelevant. That's mainly the reason. And they're giving Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Debo, Kittle, all these guys all the credit. Whereas the difference between this guy and Brock Purdy and Jimmy Garoppolo is you literally won games where Jimmy Garoppolo threw the ball 3 times, right? You led with Tevin Coleman and whoever, I forget who the other guy was at the time.
Yeah, Mostert as well then.
Yeah, so they led with both of those guys. Brock Purdy in both games had to make, whether he played poorly or not as great as he was in the regular season in the first, 2.5 quarters or whatever. The last quarter, the last play is what mattered in this, and he showed that I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bona fide top 10 QB. This year he may have been, but I'm just saying in general, I'm not going to say he's pencil him in top 10 no matter what, like how you do Mahomes, Allen, Herbert, Burrow, and all these guys, Lamar. But he did what Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do. And he was from behind. The defense did what they needed to do. He helped that defense out, made plays in that Lions game because he needed to do that starting early. In that Packers game, he led that last drive, and he led them to wins. That's what ends up mattering. And he has to do that again this time probably. But the problem is against this Chiefs defense, you cannot be behind by a lot, first of all. If you're going head to toe, that's what he needs to do. Unfortunately, you're going against the best quarterback in the game right now, arguably the greatest talent ever. Talent, not player. Talent, just to make that clear.
Could be player.
I'm just saying, as of right now, the greatest talent probably ever. Then you might have to go toe-to-toe with him. I think he can because he has those weapons. And that's going to be the key. Come down to it. Can he match Mahomes' production? based on how the defenses go at it on each other.
You know, this notion of like any quarterback could win in this offense
Those
is
bullshit.
so false.
Bullshit.
Because this Niners team has never won.
Exactly.
So the fact that Brock Purdy has done what he's done deserves his credit. He deserves the credit.
I get injuries were a factor. Trey Lance.
Yeah, exactly.
He was third overall pick for a reason.
I mean,
for
then you had Garoppolo, you had Lance, you had the year that Garoppolo was injured. Right, I think everyone was injured that year, so
yeah,
you could
was it
kind
Nick
of give him a
Mullins?
pass.
I don't even know who it was.
It was like Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard, but yeah. There's notion that like is it a quarterback friendly offense? Yes, but I think every offense
Why is it quarterback friendly?
every offense should be run like that.
Why is it quarterback friendly? Because you have Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan's a smart QB. Yes, he had his
Coach. Smart coach.
Sorry. Yeah, he had his flaws. He should have won the Super Bowl twice. Once with the Falcons, once with the Niners. The first time when they made it against the Chiefs. But it is what it is. You go get yourself a great head coach. Look what Shane Steichen did with Gardner Minshew. And now Gardner Minshew fits that. Right now, that might be a bad example because people are gonna be like, "Oh, look, he did that." Right. The thing is, if you have a smart guy, Sean McVay, I'm sure he had won some games without Matthew Stafford, without Jared Goff as well. Right? Baker came in literally first day. He put a game plan for him, and Baker obviously balled out himself.
Exactly, yes.
So
the thing is this, bro. Like as a general manager, you gotta set it up like that, right?
Exactly.
Like you gotta set it up. Like don't get me wrong, Mahomes is great. Would he be the same player with Andy Reid or without Andy Reid? There's gonna be a difference for sure. But yeah, so that's one thing. For this game offensively, how they're gonna attack this Chiefs team is gotta be through a Christian McCaffrey
run game
focus.
Calling it right now. Run game.
And I'm just trying to like replicate what the Bills did, basically, right? Like James Cook was cooking, and then Josh Allen did his things. Josh Allen, yes, did he miss? He made one less play than Patrick Mahomes. It's clear because he had forgot who was in the end zone, but he had him in the end zone. The one he missed right before Tyler Bass missed the field goal. But who cares about that?
Shakir.
We're talking, Shakir. But this Niners offense, if they could replicate that, right, bro? Like Allen, what he did that game was, take his throws. He didn't force anything. Yes, he probably got lucky on one throw. He probably could have been intercepted. But other than that, Allen played a proper game, even though his numbers may not look like it. Allen played a really good game and taking his shots when he needed to. Unfortunately, his receivers dropped it, and he took the checkdowns when he needed to. That's how James Cook, did well. That's how Latavius Murray did well out of the backfield. And then also, obviously, you had Knox and Kincaid as well as your tight ends.
Spags is a big game DC. We've seen that. We've proven that. He's proven that with less in the past. Now he has a better defense. The thing here is their Chiefs' run defense hasn't been the greatest, and it literally proved it by saying the Bills game.
Yeah, it's not like it hasn't been the greatest, but it's their weakest point. This defense has been so good in general, right? Like they stuffed. You can't say this run defense hasn't been the greatest because they absolutely stuffed.
Oh yeah, no, I'm saying, but it's
yeah, no, so I'm saying
point on the defense.
Yeah, so if you're gonna knock one thing, it will be the run defense. But if you're gonna knock something, it's their defense defending against the backfield. McCaffrey. No, defending the
screen pass.
No, that's screen. That comes into that. Defending the pass to the backfield. So the running backs. Okay. AKA McCaffrey is gonna be that guy.
And
then James Cook is that guy too, and that's why he did really well.
Guess what? You have Carl Juszczyk doing sideline catches probably. Who knows?
As well, right? Catches. Like McCaffrey fits the perfect. McCaffrey is the perfect player to destroy this Chiefs defense, and the Niners have him. Like James Cook did really well, and he's a good pass catcher out of the backfield. And obviously we have the best in McCaffrey. So obviously this has to be a McCaffrey centric game. Get him the ball no matter how you want to get him the ball. And obviously, when it comes down to it, just like Buffalo with Josh Allen, Brock Purdy's going to have to make some throws, where Allen did make some and missed some. Purdy's got to be ready for those moments. And if he excels in those moments, then yes, Purdy is that
and Purdy's done that. Ayuk made plays for him, right? Kittle made plays. McCaffrey's made plays, so that's good for him. Defensively, though, let's talk about that. Again, it's Patrick Mahomes, and he's a different beast in the playoffs. Obviously, take away Travis Kelce, you have a great shot. Travis Kelce, you have to make Travis Kelce make plays. Good news for them is you got MVS making clutch catches when he needed to.
And let's focus on the Niners defense, yeah.
Yes. Oh, yes. My bad.
We're still on the Niners.
So, I'm saying that when MVS, he's making right now in this playoffs, he was dropping clutch plays in the past. He's making them in the playoffs. And obviously, Rashee Rice is emerging as a number one at the moment. Again, I'm not. We have to still see more for me to consider him wide receiver one of the future.
Well, for this year, he has been.
But for this year, he has been, right? And we don't even know if Tony's playing or not. I doubt it. But the thing is, just take away Travis Kelce and force others to win, and just try to get pressure on Mahomes.
Yeah, no,
Because
like,
Joe Thuney's gonna be injured, right? And you
Yeah.
better not have Chase Young taking plays off on the defensive side. There were talks that they might even bench him for this game, because there was that one play against the Lions where you would just let Jahmyr Gibbs walk in.
the thing is this, right? Like, Chiefs definitely, yes, they don't have the weapons, but what they don't have in weapons, they make up for the offensive line. And
Yeah.
obviously, 4 years ago when they beat the Niners, it was vice versa, right? They had the weapons, obviously Tyreek Hill being the biggest one, and they didn't have the O-line as much. Can Bosa and Young get pressure? Rick Armstead as well. Can these guys get pressure on Mahomes, right? Try to make him as uncomfortable as possible. You do have the pieces. Like, at the end of the day, we know Young is a good player. It doesn't matter if he believes he's a good player, because that's what he doesn't look like he's believing.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And you have the perfect linebacker, in my opinion, to chase down Patrick Mahomes.
100%.
Right? Like, Fred Warner, there's no one better in the game as a linebacker.
But you're going against Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
That's
So
the
it's his
difference.
biggest test. But if there's anyone that could stop Patrick Mahomes, for those, like, or limit those scrambles for like 10, 15 yards and keep him to 5 or 6, Fred Warner can do that.
Yeah, but Patrick Mahomes beat two of the better. I'm not saying they're better than him, but you got two in one team, Patrick Queen and obviously Roquan Smith, who's probably the second best in the game right now. Obviously, Fred Warner is the best in the game, so let's see what he does. He is probably distanced himself as the guy, the best guy.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's clear.
Like how Mahomes has solidified himself the best, and there's everyone else. So let's see if that's the case here. I'm excited to see that matchup for sure defensively. But let's switch over to the Chiefs now. And offensively, let's start there. I already mentioned that Travis Kelce needs to have himself a Travis Kelce game that he did last week. He can't be what he was in the regular season. And that's pretty much it. There's
Yeah. Okay.
and obviously you have to have Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield.
It's very obvious, right? It's Pacheco and Kelsey.
Yeah.
It's Pacheco and Kelsey, and
100%.
obviously, and just one other guy, whether it be Rice or Scantling, or it could just be a mix of both, depending. Because we already know if Kelsey's not on his game, they're not winning.
Yeah.
And if Kelsey's not on his game, it's gonna affect Mahomes a little bit, right? Because we've seen that this regular season, Mahomes wasn't on his game.
Yeah.
It's because Kelsey wasn't on his game either. So Pacheco and Kelsey clearly are their two best weapons in this thing. And obviously, you throw in Rice as a third. Those three need to play well. If they don't play well, this offense is not doing anything. And this Niners defense, it hasn't been as dominant as we thought it would be. So it's definitely very, I would
100%.
argue the Chiefs, I'm pretty sure the Chiefs defense performed better than the Niners defense this year as a whole. And I think that's obvious. I don't even think, I'm saying that as a fact.
Yeah. It just depends on the moment. I think this game will be evenly matched. That's just me. Obviously, Wilkes isn't as good as D'Amico and Robert Salah were in the past. He hasn't, to your point, obviously I would take Spags in that matchup for sure if it's a DC matchup there. Yeah, the Chiefs' offense is literally, it's going to come, can Travis Kelce make those plays? Because if he didn't make those plays, I was confident that Lamar, and he would have been in the Super Bowl, right? If Travis Kelce didn't make those big plays in the first half. The thing with the Chiefs' offense, though, in that Ravens game it was just a first quarter and a half thing. Second half, they were a little quiet until the last play, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Same thing in the Buffalo game.
No, they were fine.
No, Buffalo. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up. The
Yeah,
games.
not the Buffalo game.
Baltimore game. That's what it was, right?
Yeah.
Travis Kelce made all those catches, essentially majority of them in the first half, right? Mainly the first quarter, and then obviously, like you said, the Ravens defense then came around and limited. They only had 17 points, right? And did they have any in the second half even?
No, I think they had one field goal maybe.
Maybe, right? Outside of that,
No, I think it might have been 17-7 and a half.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it
I'm
was.
not sure. I remember. But at the end of the day, when you holding, the Ravens defense proven that Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce can be held to less than 20 points. And that's what the Niners defense focus should be. And it can be done. They can cook you for a quarter. But
Yeah.
they haven't cooked for all 4 quarters other than the Buffalo game.
Yeah, so that's where you can, again, when I said the Niners, you can't keep playing from behind against the Chiefs. The Chiefs can't get comfortable, and they have to play full 4 quarters against this Niners offense as well.
Yeah, if they're going
sorry,
total.
this Niners team in general, not just the
Yeah,
offense.
just general. But if you flip over to Chiefs defense, clearly the best unit of this team,
Yeah,
obviously this year. Spags has been incredible. Chris Jones, they learned that like after week 1 they needed Chris Jones, so they got that thing done as well. But the main men, right? Obviously apart from Chris Jones, are the cornerbacks, Snead and McDuffie, right? Those guys have been absolutely killer.
Justin Reed in the back too.
Justin Reed in the back, whoever their secondary is,
Safety.
whoever is subbing in, whoever is subbing out, whatever it is, they're very sticky,
Yeah,
right? So this is why it has to be a McCaffrey focused offense, because it's going to be a tough time for Samuel and Ayuk to get open, even Kittle as well.
was there a linebacker back? Who was Willie Gay? Was it? Who was injured?
Willie Gay was injured.
Yeah,
But
I'm not. I'll look at his.
I'm not sure if he's healthy.
I know for sure Tooney's
Tooney's out,
most likely out.
but they have a sick linebacker in them already in Nick Bolton, who's
Yeah,
also
for sure.
one of the best as well. So we're gonna have some best on best matchup for sure, and obviously it's Super Bowl, it has to be best on best. But yeah, defensively their focus is how the hell to stop McCaffrey.
I didn't know the Niners had a Cleveland Farrell.
I don't think anyone knew.
Exactly. Yeah, continue.
Is that the clear focus of this Chiefs defense should be how to stop McCaffrey, because he is the one weapon that could destroy him. And if McCaffrey keeps going, if McCaffrey gets going and is on fire, it will open up Samuel and Ayuk as well, and it will also open up Purdy's game as well. So this defense has to focus on McCaffrey.
They're
for
not
sure.
on the injured report based on score.
So yeah,
Both of 'em. So
defense incredible still,
here's the other thing.
but it can be beat.
I trust the special teams of the Chiefs more than the Niners, because the Niners kicker had missed key kicks as well, right? So if it comes down to that matchup, you might have to favor the Chiefs that way as well. Yeah, we already know it should be a fun game. I don't anticipate this being like, I anticipate this kind of being like the Ravens game, honestly.
The
Like-
Ravens game,
Like that was a
That-
17.
that wasn't a fun
13?
game.
No, I mean score line.
It was 17-7.
No,
Or no, 17-10.
yeah.
17-10.
So I anticipate this
Yeah.
being like
Yeah,
a
that
fun game.
was a pretty shit game, not gonna lie.
But no, I'm saying like the score line, something similar like that. Like I feel like all phases will make some type of plays, right? Mainly the offense and defense, obviously, more than the special teams. I will say slightly higher. Is it prediction time now?
Yes.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I mean, you go first.
Okay.
You're already onto something.
As much as here's the thing, right? If it wasn't for that Ravens game, I would have easily said Niners. I still might consider easily Niners. As much as I want McCaffrey and I want Purdy to prove people wrong, I want Shanahan to win and get his legacy, not to be blowing a 28-3 lead as an offensive coordinator of the Falcons, and on top and that loss against the Chiefs the first time in 2020.
20, yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
I think they have all the people to do it, but the way the Chiefs have been rolling the last 3 games compared to the starts especially, I'm going to lean towards that. I'm going to take the Chiefs. Mahomes will get his 3rd Super Bowl. He will be a Hall of Famer if he retires tomorrow, on the trajectory to be.
He already was.
Yeah, I'm now cementing it. Officially on his way to GOAT status, probably, if he keeps rolling like this.
On track, yes.
Yes. So I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs with a score of 24-20.
Okay. It's a tough one. I still have a lot of trouble with picking one, but at the end of the day, all season long, they have been the best team in football, or they have been the second best team in football. That has been the San Francisco 49ers. Defense is still incredible. Offense, too many weapons to stop, I think, and yeah. And Brock Purdy has proven that he can win some games. When it comes down to it, when it comes down to quarterback play, Brock Purdy has proven that he can get the job done. Chiefs side, they're incredible. They have Mahomes. It's like Brady. Like, are you really going to pick against Brady?
Exactly.
Or are you going to really pick against Mahomes? And I've been picking against Mahomes, the last 2 games. And I haven't learned my lesson because I'm still picking against Mahomes.
Okay.
And I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm going with a 27-24 victory and a game-winning field goal.
So you're going to rely on the kicker.
I'm going to rely on the kicker.
Yeah, so those are our predictions.
I'm gonna predict that Brock Purdy gets them into field goal range at a 24-24 game, and then the kicker, Jake Moody, I believe, will make the kick.
So those are our predictions. We're dropping the poll Friday morning to see what you guys think. So you guys have about, over 48 hours to vote on that. Yeah, so comment down below what you guys think. Are you going to ride the Chiefs wagon again? Or are you going to finally say it's time for them to lose? Yeah, so that's all pretty much it. I really hope if Taylor Swift does show up, the commentators and like all these fans don't make it about her. Like she happens to be that big celebrity. Like, did you hear what's his name said? I forgot who it was. David Carr. Oh, Mahomes or Kelsey's lucky she's out of town right now. Otherwise, she would have easily taken the wrong. She usually would have went to the other tight end and taken him. Keep in mind, George Kittle's married.
Okay.
See, that's the shit that annoys
okay, yeah.
me.
The thing is this. All right, we're gonna keep this short, very short.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna end it off with one sentence.
Yeah,
She's just there to watch football. She's not doing anything wrong.
exactly.
All right, let's move on. Offensive coordinator news. We'll start off with Cliff Kingsbury. This man rejected the Raiders, and honestly, I don't blame him. But he has joined the Commanders, right?
Yeah.
Okay, he has joined the Washington Commanders, which, at the end of the day, is not much of an upgrade over the Raiders.
He said that it was Magic Johnson was a big deal for that. There's actually ties to this. We gotta talk about a little bit. He's replacing Eric Bieniemy. Eric Bieniemy's no longer gonna be on the staff whatsoever. That's number one. Eric Bieniemy reportedly gave a pep talk to the Chiefs before the Ravens game, so maybe that was a factor of them winning. Is that a hint that Bieniemy will be back? EB, very quickly about him. A weird season for him because he did help Sam Howell, but the problem is he couldn't get Terry McLaurin going, which is your number one option. Maybe that was a huge factor of why he was let go, right? So Kingsbury now coming in. Let's see what happens to DB. This ruins his head coaching chance for next year, but he probably should have not left the Chiefs in the first place. But talking about Kingsbury, he's a great offensive mind, right? He was not a great head coach at Texas Tech. Obviously, he had a sub 500 record even, and with the Arizona Cardinals, except for that 1 year where until Kyler Murray got hurt, he was doing well. But again, his issue with the Cardinals was he would always start hot, except this last year, and then go down cold immediately, right?
Yeah, so the thing with Kingsbury is it's a tale of two seasons for him. Kingsbury as an offensive mind, at the end of the day, he worked with Patrick Mahomes, and look where he is. He worked. Kyler Murray is still a stud at quarterback.
Yeah.
So he can do work. He definitely can do work. And obviously, I'm assuming they're going drafting a quarterback.
So that's where I'm going to go into.
So it kind of makes sense as well.
So this is where not conspiracy, but this is where some speculation comes in. Washington has a second overall pick, so they're in line for Drake May at the moment, right? If people assume that he's the guy. He was the offensive coordinator for USC last year. Who was USC's quarterback? Caleb Williams. Where is he projected to go? Number one. Caleb Williams or his camp have been saying he does not want to be a Bear. He does not want to be a Bear. I don't know why he wants to be a Commander in the first place, but he does not want to be a Bear. First of all, Caleb Williams, shut up. Be grateful that you're about to get drafted.
Exactly.
Right? You're labeled as the best guy. I get the logic of you rather be undrafted because you get to go wherever you want to go. But getting drafted, like you said it before in the past, is an honor. Right? People want you for a reason, right? And you could also be labeled a hero for that franchise as well.
You're labeled a guy. You're
and the Bears who've never had a QB before, right? Finally might have the answer. But that's a different story. We'll talk about that maybe near the draft if more news come out. But the reason why this is big is because the speculation is maybe the Washington Commanders trade up, or he might force his way to Washington, which is what I was saying. Caleb Williams, shut up, go where you get drafted to, because you have no leverage anyways.
Honestly,
unless you actually don't sign a contract that I don't know.
Yeah, he has leverage. He doesn't have the contract.
No, but every report says he has no leverage.
But yeah, that's true. But yeah, so that's something to keep an eye on as well. We have to see if there's a coincidence, that they already know that the Bears might, already trading away, or the Bears are just drafting Marvin Harrison and just throw us all for a loop as well.
Yeah.
But other offensive news.
So, it's a weird way. I think it was not Rappaport. Pelissero reported this. So, the Chargers got their OC as well. Now, I don't think he's the play caller. He might be. I don't know. Greg Roman is jumping ship from brother to brother, like many of the Chargers staff. Greg Roman is now joining Jim Harbaugh. The way they worded it was a great offensive coordinator, great offensive mind, and all the comments said was, no, that's wrong. Because every Ravens fan was annoyed with him, right? The way they were running offense, and we were watching how he
Bro,
was running the offense.
Look
with
at
Lamar.
look at the difference.
A lot of QB runs.
Look at the difference. You have Greg Roman and you have Todd Monken.
Outside of the Chiefs game.
Look at the difference. Just simple as that. Look at
Outside
the
of the
years
Chiefs
they
game.
had. Yeah, outside the Chiefs game. Just look at the difference, right? We don't even have to show you. Like, we don't have to tell you. You already
Yeah.
know.
So like I'm not happy for Herbert in that case. We'll see how long this lasts.
But at the end of the day,
Again, I could be wrong.
the thing is this, right? Roman was leading the offense. Roman's not leading the offense. It's Harbaugh.
We don't know that though. How are you sure about that?
Well, Jim Harbaugh's more of an offensive guy, right?
I wasn't John Harbaugh either.
John Harbaugh. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Jim Harbaugh wants to lead, bro.
Yeah.
Jim Harbaugh has some unfinished business.
So we'll see.
I think it's got to be done Jim Harbaugh's way at
But
the end of the day.
if he is ending up being the play caller or whatever, the leading the offense, I'm not a fan of.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So let's see how long that lasts because I don't think it's a good fit because of the past of Greg Roman. But let's see what happens. Before we move on, let me just double check if we have any NFL news that we need to talk about. I don't think there's any. All head coaching was failed. We got that done. One news though, Nick Saban is joining ESPN College Game Day.
Just added more stacked crew now, basically.
Yeah.
Obviously, the best is Pat McAfee there, just making everyone laugh.
Okay, let's move on to the NBA. We forgot to talk about a couple of things last time, so we'll lead off.
Also, just one thing:
Yeah.
Whitecaps are winning.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now you mentioned it. We should talk about it.
Whitecaps are winning.
The reason why we care about the Whitecaps right now is obviously Jeevan is signed to the Whitecaps 2 team professionally, but most importantly, this Champions Cup game now is no longer called Champions League. Jeevan Badwal, along with John Herdman's son, I think it's Jay Herdman,
Yeah.
have been called up from the Whitecaps 2 team to be on the squad.
So we're also very focused on this Whitecaps game as well.
Exactly. So we might be, eventually have it either on the background or we might have to take a pause in the pod, but we'll see how that goes. But right now, once again, congratulations, Jeevan. We say this I think every time.
Hey man, he's just
you are now on the first team as a call-up. So let's see how it goes.
he's just doing things. He's breaking barriers, breaking records.
If it wasn't BC Place, we probably would have been sitting there right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it happened to be in the island. That was the only
Yeah,
issue.
that
But
sucks.
let's move on to the NBA. We'll keep updates on if Jeevan comes on while we're recording. But
Yeah, no, but the surprising part is they're winning. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
true.
They're bringing
Tigers is a big.
Tigers
is a good team.
sick.
Fun fact: did you know? I know I told you off camera, but for the camera's sake, I walked across. I don't think it's the players when I was walking to work, but a bunch of people. Like it seemed like there were staff or something wearing Tigres jackets, like stadium full-on jackets.
Yeah,
So I want to assume they're on the staff at the minimum.
at the staff. Yeah,
So which is crazy. And ironically, they were by
could've-
Chipotle.
but of course they're by Chipotle. But yeah, no,
did you see the ferry picture? I don't know if I sent it to you.
I didn't honestly.
So the ferries, they were, I don't know if it was supporters or whatever, pretty much from the outside where you stand on the pier of BC Ferries, it was filled with like flags of Tigris and stuff like that.
They're proper fans,
Yeah.
right? They know how to do it. They know how to do it.
Yeah. But anyways, let's move on. There's no other soccer news in general to talk about, right?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No.
So NBA, let's talk about the couple of things we forgot to talk about last time. Let's start off with the All-Stars. Have been officially been announced. We did our NBA trade deadline preview last episode, so make sure you guys check that out. We will do our post-trade deadline reaction, assuming there will be some trades
If any
made,
trades happen.
which I anticipate because it is the NBA, on Friday. It'll be dropped on Friday, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that, and we'll talk about the 2 trades that have happened already. But going back to the All-Stars, it's on February 18 long week. It is a long weekend actually.
Yeah.
At least in Canada. But it's on that weekend. The reserves have been announced. So I'll tell you I'll announce who the reserves are. The reserves were voted in by the coaches around the league. All right. So the starters, it was 50% based on fan voting. The rest 25% voting was on media and the players, which we'll talk about the voting problems in a second. But Eastern Conference, no surprises for me. Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, Tyrese Maxey,
Dog.
Julius Randle,
Dog.
Jalen Brown,
Dog.
Bam Adebayo, Paolo Banchero.
Dogs.
The only surprise we mentioned last time was one of those two guards should have been a starter. That's about it. The coaches could have ruined it.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, they
100%.
didn't. That's what matters at the end
But
of
yeah,
the day.
but we also have 2 replacements in the East as well.
You want to get to it now?
Yeah, my
Okay,
the
so
East.
due to Joel Embiid's injury, which we're going to talk about, and Julius Randle's injury, the people who considered snubs were Trae Young and Scotty Barnes.
Both are dogs.
Both are now in the All-Star game and well-deserved. And this was selected by Commissioner Adam Silver. So, I was thinking maybe Porzingis gets in somehow just because they've been that good, right? Maybe someone else gets in. But I think Commissioner, obviously, maybe it was a little biased of getting more teams involved because there's no Hawks representative and no Raptors representative. Both teams obviously were ass. Makes sense a little bit. But, so those 2 are in, well-deserved. And this is, okay, this is the gripe I have with the voting and the fan side of things. I'm like, this guy's snub, this guy's snub. I'm going to ask you this. As much as you're biased towards Scotty Barnes, who would you have taken off this list for Scotty Barnes or Trae Young? That are like easy, take them off the list.
It's not easy. I'll tell you that much. Do they have a shout? Yes. Are they snubs? Yes. Is it easy?
But are they big snubs?
Well,
someone's going to get left out of like this.
yeah, someone's getting left out. They're snubs.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Because
A big snub is if you get robbed. I don't even call that a big snub. They're just snubs. It's a robbery.
Because even like when Bradley Beal missed it that one year,
That's a robbery.
But again, people look at it as like, who do you take out? But then again, in that stats wise, he should have been in there.
Yeah, no, like that was a robbery.
Yeah.
These are just snubs. They're snubs.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
People are
they're
gonna get
gonna
snubbed.
be snubs,
Yeah.
right? So I have no issue with that.
The issue I have is just like how the voting is. Like, if you have an issue, go talk to the coaches in this case for the reserves at least, right? The issue with the other one is like the players voting. Before I get to the Western All Stars here, the player voting is annoying. People want to criticize the fans, right? And they got 50% of the vote, and it's fair. They're gonna be biased to their player, but they're fans. They're obviously going to be biased to their team and to their players, right? That's how Damian Lillard got in, because he was second amongst fan voting, but then Brunson and them were second amongst like the media and player voting, right? The players voted for Lonzo Ball, who has not played in a year and a half. They have voted for Steven Adams, who has not played yet.
So that makes sense.
The players also are at fault, and they should be at bigger fault because you're wasting your vote on injured players. I'm a Kobe fan. When those years that Kobe was injured, he had no business being an All-Star because he hasn't played, right?
Yeah.
As much as he gets it because of his reputation, that's a different story. But All-Star is based on the current year. You're throwing away your vote. That could have been Scotty Barnes or Trae Young as well.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, does it really matter? Yes, just because, contract incentives.
Yeah.
But we all know, like, the more important things are the actual NBA awards and the all NBA teams. But yeah, it does suck to see.
That's the thing. That side is based on bias. It's all 3 parties involved are biased. The coaches, they value winning more.
Yeah.
That's why you're not going to see Scotty Barnes or Trae Young in the first
place. But the thing is this, right? Like, that's just, All-Star is just like how to get everyone involved. At the end of the day, they're just trying to get everyone involved.
Yeah.
Fans, players, coaches, everyone. So that's how it is. Like,
I would have had an issue.
Like, at the end of the day, you're not going to see a freaking fan voting freaking Lonzo Ball to go on an all-defensive first team.
Yeah, exactly. Those are on the media writers.
Yeah, exactly. So All-Star is the NBA's way of getting everyone involved. So,
but yeah, at the end of the day, everything could be true.
Is it right? Maybe.
Because at the end of the day, it's for the fans. It's
for the fans, right? And All-Star is just, it's not like it's gonna be a serious game. It's supposed to be entertaining. It's supposed to be like WWE. It's not actual wrestling, right? There's wrestle. Don't get me wrong. They wrestle. It's real. They do all the moves.
It's not Olympic wrestling.
But there's a storyline to it.
Yeah.
Right. There's a script aspect to it of like how to make this as entertaining for the fans so we could get them to react.
AKA screw the Rock, right?
Screw the Rock.
But no, like everything could be true. Like the voting could be flawed. Like if Brunson, Mitchell, or Maxey had missed out completely because of the fans and stuff, 100% there. The coaches obviously valued winning. They were in because of it. So, yeah, there's that. Commissioner has his own way of getting people in to get more fan bases involved, like you said, which makes sense of why these got in. But they also got in because they deserved it. But at the end of the day, from the fans' perspective, I know you were probably like Scotty should have been in, but like again, when you look at it, who do you take out?
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
People are gonna get snubbed. It is what it is. Play harder next time. And guess what? You still play hard because now who got in the All-Star game?
Yeah.
Not
Replacements.
every year you might have injuries, but most of the years you get injuries.
You do.
Replacements
You do
all the time.
But yeah, let's move on to the West.
So the Western Conference, I do have a slight issue with this one. Steph Curry in, no problem.
Yeah.
Anthony Edwards in, no problem.
Yeah.
Devin Booker in.
Yeah.
Paul George in. Kawhi Leonard in. Karl Anthony Towns in. And Anthony Davis in. Again, it's tough to take one of these guys out, but I would have loved to see a Kings player in, whether it be De'Aaron Fox, whether it had been Sabonis, because they deserved an All-Star with how they've been played this year. So
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely, I can't say highway robbery. I could see a slight robbery there. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I personally would have gave it to Sabonis. I don't know.
I would have given it to Fox.
They both have been incredible. Reason why is I just believe that Sabonis is so underrated.
Yeah.
Right? Like watching Sabonis play is incredible. Like he could legit do it all. And as a big man. Yeah, Fox is incredible too. Definitely a Kings player deserve to be in. That is for sure.
Like I said, I have no, like,
Who would you have taken out?
personally, one of the Clippers guys, but then I can't either at the same
You
time.
can't. You can't take out one of the Clippers
Because of
guys.
how recent, Devin Booker maybe?
I can't take out Devin Booker either.
But KD's in. That's why. That's the only reason why. 80. And obviously, I'm slightly biased there.
Only one I could think of, and he's been incredible too, is Towns.
Yeah.
And yeah, so is it
Like,
is it
or
a
the
robbery? Is it
Like
a
Steph Curry and Anthony Edwards were the two guards that were locks for me, right? Because you only get two reserve guard positions.
Yeah.
So which means Devin Booker in this case was a wild card, and I'm assuming Paul George is a wild card.
Yeah,
in
they're
this
both
case.
wild cards.
Because
yeah.
I think AD deserved it. I think Kawhi deserved it. Now you could argue between Paul George and Karl Anthony Towns. So either way, one of them could have gone in as a wild card
for
decision.
sure. So it's probably George or Towns.
I would have taken Booker off and put Fox in. That's just me.
Yeah, it's tough to take off
That's just
Booker as
me.
well.
But I just think again,
there's
people
gonna
are
be
gonna get
snubs.
snubs.
There's gonna be snubs.
But I do in this case. I'll agree with the Kings fan if they say that at least one of us should have been in.
Yeah, that's
In
fair.
that sense, that's fair to say.
That's fair.
But yeah, so those are the All Stars. We'll give our there's a Sabrina Ionescu versus Stephen Curry aspect in the 3-point contest. The 3-pointer, we'll do our predictions next time. I don't think I have the thing saved, but the dunk contest is set, the 3-point contest is set, and the skills contest is set.
We still have time for that.
So we have time for that. I thought it was this weekend. Also, it is the midway point based on the All Star. So expect an NBA tier list coming out soon. After the Super Bowl, expect an NFL tier list coming out soon.
Yeah, but let's move on to
The trade deadline.
we already mentioned Embiid, so let's start off with that.
Okay, let's go with Embiid.
So Joel Embiid is injured, and he could be out for.
He has surgery. He's
had surgery. He's reevaluated in a month, and
Yeah.
could be out for obviously we don't know how long now.
Yeah.
And it's a big injury just because Joel Embiid at this moment in time was your MVP of this year. And it sucks to see Embiid get injured again.
We
sucks.
had the debate before about the whole new rule about the 65
Yeah,
game.
and honestly, at the end of the day, a torn meniscus is like it's pretty serious, right? Like it's not like he needed surgery at the end of the day. He needed surgery, so it's pretty serious. So even if the rule is happening or not, and it wouldn't have mattered, right? This injury wasn't taken off with or without the rule. He was not going to be the MVP.
So here's the issue now with Embiid. He's probably, arguably could be done for the year, at least regular season maybe. Because here's what I'm gonna say. They're currently 5th in the standings now, already missing Embiid. They just lost to the Warriors. They're 30-20. They're 2 games clear on the Pacers, 3 games clear of the play-in spot, which is the Heat. And then Orlando right behind them with 4 games difference, 7 games on the Bulls, and then almost 10 games on the Hawks.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Right? No, I have to.
I'm just going to say right now, I'm ruling out the 9 and 10 seed or anything lower than that because I don't think they're dropping that low.
It's tough, man, because they have not been good without Embiid.
They haven't. Yeah, that's
Tyrese
true.
Maxey's gonna be the guy, and you have no help around him consistently. Like Tobias Harris needs to play like he was on the Clippers again.
Oh yeah, for
that
sure.
led to the trade, right?
The thing is this: the East is so it's such a fall off, right? Legit, right after
Like
that.
here's your schedule.
I don't see him falling out of a playing spot.
This
That's
is
all
a
I'm gonna say.
reevaluation in a month, and who knows? Because the Mavericks fell off a cliff from 5th place, so you got to remember that as well.
Yeah, no, but Mavericks.
They just lost to the Warriors. They just lost to the Mavericks recently, right? Hawks, Wizards, Cavs, Heat, Knicks, Cavs, Bucks, Celtics, Hornets, Mavericks,
Bro, that's
and the Nets. Let's just say that's a
how
month.
many games is that?
That's a month's time, right? That's reevaluation.
That's 50-50. There should be at least 500 in that record, I would say.
I could even argue less, depending on again. This team
Bro,
is
like,
without
you got-
Embiid.
You got Wizards, you got like freaking.
Again, this team
the
is
Nets
without
in there.
Embiid, though. That's the difference.
I know. There's
Now
a
the
difference.
good news is you have
But
a
the
good
thing
coach.
is, they
You
lost.
have a good coach,
They lost to good.
and you have another all-star.
The thing is, they lost to good teams, right? At the end of the day, yeah, Warriors are struggling,
Okay,
but on paper they're a
But
good
when he
team.
comes
They
back,
lost to the
do you-
Mavericks. They're a good
but
team.
if he does come back, which I maybe think he shouldn't, right? At that point, you might be in a play-in spot. I still don't think you're one of the top teams, depending on what you do at the deadline. Because after that, if he even comes back, he's not going to be 100%. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Because it's a torn meniscus at the end of the day, and it's Embiid's health in
it's
general.
Embiid's health. I
Okay.
believe he could.
So
I believe if it was anyone else that wasn't injured could come back 100%.
they still.
But I
have-
don't believe in Embiid coming back 100%.
After that, they have 2 games with the Knicks. They have Bucks. They got Suns. They got Heat. They got Lakers. They got Clippers. They got Kings. They got Clippers.
Well, you just said the whole roster.
They
whole
got
thing now.
Cavs. And they got the Thunder. They got the Heat again.
All right, yeah.
And the rest is relatively
They have a tough
easy.
schedule.
So
That's all
I
you have
just
to
think
say.
he needs to settle for the year. That's just me. I don't think you're gonna win a chip this year with him. I don't think you were gonna win with him 100%, let alone 70%. Right? I don't think you have the depth in that roster to compete with the Celtics or the Bucks. Maybe again, we see what the Heat always do in the playoffs, right? Do I agree with you that they're gonna still be in the play-in? Yes.
They're not missing. They're not missing any of that. They're not. They're not.
What if they do though?
Huh? If they do, then the Raptors are gonna be in, or someone,
Brooklyn.
or Brooklyn is gonna be in, and that's me crazy.
Because their schedule's tough, right? Because like this was their lineup today against the Warriors, and the Warriors are a decent team. We talked about the Warriors in the last video, obviously, but this was their lineup: Tobias Harris, Kelly Oubre, Paul Reed, Tyrese Maxey, Jaden Springer.
Yeah.
Nothing entices me really.
Obviously,
completely.
Maxey Tyson.
Outside of that, like, but Maxey ain't. He's just finally an all-star.
Yeah.
Embiid was like, you need to put 3 guys on him.
Oh, obviously. You lose your big star, you're gonna drop.
So I
There's
will
no-
not be surprised if they
but
fall out of a play-in spot.
They're lucky they're in the East. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but I'm gonna.
I will be surprised if they fall out of the East. If it was West, I'll predicting them they're gonna fall out.
What's the lowest you think they're gonna go? Based on what I said.
Huh?
Based on what I said, what do you think is the lowest they're gonna go?
No, nothing lower than 10.
But like, so where? 7, 8,
So
9?
10.
Okay, so you think the Hawks,
That's their-
Bulls,
that's their
Magic,
floor.
will all
That's-
go ahead of them?
That's their floor.
That's your floor. But like, where do you
Yeah.
end up predicting?
Predicting them, I'll probably say 8.
Okay, so you're gonna say that means you're saying Heat will jump in, and the Magic move to 7.
Yeah, whoever. It doesn't have to be those 2 teams. It could be the teams below them.
True.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I just think. Listen, they might go on that Clipper run. Remember, with Shea. Speaking of the OKC video with Shea,
Yeah.
like you have a good coach, you're bound to do something. I believe in Nick Nurse and that.
Man, this also sets you up bound to make a move, right? Like, try to add some guy, whoever comes available. You guys have to be in the top of the list now as well. Because
Nick Nurse,
even with Embiid, you're not winning a title, right? With this roster.
Nick Nurse, coach of the year if they stay in a playoff spot.
He's gonna be in the conversation, but he's not gonna win it.
In a playoff series, just to say they do make the playoffs and Embiid does come back not 100%. Who do you take in a 7-game series? Right now they're matched up with the Knicks.
I would probably take the Sixers if Embiid is playing.
Even if he's like 60, 70%
Yeah.
against that defense.
The thing is this, man. The reason why Embiid sucks in the playoffs is he's always hurt.
And he's hurt again.
And the thing is,
He's hurt before.
the thing is, he's coming off. The difference this year, he's coming back from an injury at the end of the day, right? He's going to play if he could feel like he could play. Whereas other times where he's freaking got hurt in the playoffs. That's a difference as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, I agree with you that he won't fall out of the 10, but I won't be shocked. I won't be surprised if they do. But we'll see how that goes.
All right, so move on. We got an NBA trade.
We got 2 trades. We've missed one from last time.
Oh, we did?
Yeah, the Steven Adams one. It's gonna be very quick though.
Oh, yeah, we did, yeah.
So trade deadline, like we said, is today. Literally, are we dropping this? What time do you think we're gonna drop this?
Probably
12 PST.
latest, yeah.
Okay, so that means the trade deadline should be done in 1 hour. Or it should be done by the time you get to this segment.
Yeah.
'Cause I think it ends at 1.
Depends on the time. Let's
Um,
see.
So couple of trades have been made. Let's start off with the one that we missed, which is just simple. I like it for the Rockets, but even though Steven Adams is injured, they get Steven Adams from the Grizzlies. Victor Oladipo once again traded, and I feel bad for this dude who's been just nonstop injuries
Yeah.
after he figured out his career with Indiana. 3 second rounders, 2 of them in 2024, 1 of them in 2025. Like I said, Steven Adams, if I don't know what his contract status is at the moment, but if he is under contract next year still, and that's a good veteran piece with Fred and Dylan Brooks, which is clearly working out better than you thought it would be
Oh yeah.
in the offseason.
For sure. And yeah, Steven Adams is that guy who.
He's a guy that I would have loved the Thunder to get back if he was healthy.
Yeah, exactly. Steven Adams for me is like Jonas Valanciunas. I'm not saying they have similar play style, but like they're quality bigs. They're gonna help your team, but they're not like anything like superstar level or like star level even.
Next trade, Simone Fontecchio. I heard this guy's good. I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch much Jazz, but he was on the Jazz. He got traded to the Pistons, so sucks for him, I guess. For Kevin Knox, draft rights to Gabriel Procida, second round pick of 2024. Nothing too much to say about this because I don't know the players.
know.
So we'll just say that happened on February 7th, so today. Celtics. This is, I think, a good depth piece for them to add depth in the front court. Grizzlies trade away Xavier Tillman for Lamar Stevens and 2 second round picks being 2027 and 2030.
Yeah, Xavier
Celtics again fleeced in my opinion. I think
Oh,
Tillman
yeah,
in
they
a good
always-
system, in a good.
That's
he's a good backup option, at least depth option at the
Oh,
minimum.
yeah, he's a great depth option.
The last one is the Pistons traded away Monte Morris to the Timberwolves for Shake Milton, Troy Brown Jr., second round pick 2030.
So this is it eye-opening deal? No, but it was just a deal that needed to be done for the Timberwolves
To get
to get a backup big. And this
Monte Morris thrived as a backup with
Yeah.
the Nuggets
and
and struggled as a starter with the Wizards.
exactly. And this is what we're saying the Thunder to do for their big position as well. Just you don't have to do anything special, right? It's not like at the end of the day, did the Timberwolves give up anything great?
No.
Exactly. And you can still get a quality backup piece.
Yeah.
So
So
that's what we're preaching the Thunder to do for a backup big as
again,
well.
we're not gonna go through the whole list again because we literally did that last episode. You guys should check that out. But a couple of names we did forget to mention. Your Raptors team has options: Dennis Schroeder, Bruce Brown, Chris Boucher,
Those are the
and
three.
Gary Trent Jr. Which
Gary-
I still think you should re-sign him.
Yeah, so
but-
there's those. If there are, those are the 4 for the Raptors or that we're
So
gonna get
keep
rid
an eye
of.
out on those names. Keep an eye out on DeJounte Murray. I think the trade talks with the Lakers have died down. Keep an eye out on the Lakers, Thunder, Pacers, and Warriors and Sixers as well to see what they're gonna do. There has been talks about Caruso, Drummond as well. So keep it on. Those are the names I would say keep an eye on. But the one name you literally witnessed today was Miles Bridges,
Oh yeah,
and he went out for 45. He's again, his off court issues aside, because it's still gonna be a tough thing to pick up as a team. He might be linked to the Suns, and because of the off court issues, they might be able to trade for him.
yeah.
And a guy either starting with them or coming off that bench would be massive, because he's at the end of the day, as a basketball player strictly, because all the stuff I think is still alleged of what he has done. He's a baller. You literally witnessed that today.
Like he dropped 45. He's a good basketball player, and he's gonna help any team as a
And anyone
basketball
who
player.
leaves the Hornets usually does better.
That'll obviously help too as
Yeah.
well. But yeah, so
That's the NBA.
is it last year's trade deadline? No, but there's still
Yeah,
some
because at this point last year, I think Kevin Durant got traded like at this moment last year.
exactly. So yeah, nothing's lived to last year. So don't
Yeah.
expect it as it's gonna be like last year.
But expect some decent moves still.
Yeah, there'll be some decent moves.
Okay, let's move on. A couple of quick ones to talk about. Do you want to go MLB or NHL?
What sort of NHL?
NHL. Shout out, first of all, we shouted out Jeevan. We got to shout out our Punjabi brother here. Arshdeep Bains, again, Surrey's own. Undrafted player from the Bantam, by the way, and undrafted in the NHL. All-star for the Abbotsford Canucks, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. He had to miss the skills challenge because of the weather issue. I think that's what they canceled one of the golf things as well. I remember listening to Halfman and Brough, and he was pissed that the final day of golf was canceled.
Yeah.
Made it in time for the game though. Team Pacific, which is his team, obviously Abbotsford, won. He got MVP, scored the game-winning goal in the final game.
Yeah. RSG Band's incredible year.
Hopefully he
as
gets a
an
call
ultra.
up for the Canucks.
Yeah, can he get a call up? It's probably not gonna be this year. Let's
It
be
could be
honest.
still, just depending on if the Canucks
If
clinch early and stuff.
yeah, no, yeah, it depends on that and also health. But if it is health, it's gonna be tough to say it's gonna be this year just because everyone has been so good on the Canucks. So you're gonna really drop
I
down
really want
as
to
well.
see him mainly because he will be playing with the good players at a critical moment. Maybe if it is health issues, like Linus Carlson has been being called up. I wish maybe the next time is Archie Bains, just because I want to see him play with NHL level players. I'm not saying he's gonna be playing with
Oh yeah,
PD and them,
yeah,
but maybe like with
bro. He's been playing with Lafferty, right?
yeah,
He's been playing with
who's a solid NHL player.
a Hoaglander or whoever's on that fourth line.
Yeah,
Or Niels Oman.
and
Yeah.
if he does well, Talkett will probably boost him to that line because Makheyev's on watch alert now. I guess like the dog watch alert.
Oh yeah, it's Kuzmenko before, now it's Mikheyev.
Yeah, but
well.
yeah. So shout out to Archie Bains. Hopefully we get to see you on the Vancouver
Yeah,
Canucks. But if you are still in Abbotsford, please make the playoffs because we're trying to make the trip to Abbotsford to watch you.
Oh
this
yeah,
year, for
right.
sure.
He's been incredible, right?
Yeah.
Him.
And we need to go. We need to go this year if they make the playoffs.
It's just like he's. It's just like, is he gonna get called up? Is
Yeah.
like he made it a conversation, right?
Wait, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been doing that these last couple of years.
Every time they bring a Canucks or a prospect guy up or a AHL guy up, his name gets mentioned first.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
he's been their most consistent player, even over Podkolzin.
yeah. Even last year, he's been
yeah,
like
and he took a next step. From
yeah,
last year.
he's elevated his game
Yeah.
even more, which is incredible. And then obviously like all those prospect games you see in the preseason and all that stuff, every reporter says Archie Bains has impressed.
Yeah. Second half of the Whitecaps game just started, so we'll see if he's on. Anyways, NHL sticking with the Oilers. 16-game win streak has officially been snapped. It was one short to tie Mario Lemieux's Penguins from the 90s, I believe.
92,
93 season.
Yeah.
And they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights. 3-1 was a good game. And yeah, maybe the All-Star break hurt them. The momentum
For
stopped.
sure, for sure.
A lot of people say because the schedule's easy, but here, listen. I'm a Canucks fan. You're a Canucks fan. We're not gonna be biased. We know that the schedule is probably easier than normal, but winning 16 games in a row is still insane. Doesn't matter what level. Doesn't matter who you play.
Bro, I'm impressed if a team wins like 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Right, 16 is just on a whole new level, and you gotta give credit where credit's due. They figured out the game. They revived their season.
They're healthy.
They're healthy, and 16 games in a row is very impressive.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy it broke at this
But
rate.
I'm
as a
glad
Canucks
that
fan.
the first round potentially it might be a Vegas. Canucks need to finish first, no matter what.
Oh, they have to.
But seeing Vegas and Ottawa first or Edmonton
Edmonton
first round will be pretty fun.
Oh
to
yeah,
watch.
that's me the best
Rematch
series.
again from last year.
That's me the best series.
Yeah. So
Doesn't even matter what happens anywhere else. That will be the best series.
yeah, for sure. So that's the Oilers side of thing. Canucks, Flames, new players made their debuts. Both players scored. Andrei Kuzmenko, whose now poster has dropped from Rogers Arena, is his banner. Is scored a pretty nice goal. Looks weird in red.
Oh yeah, for sure. It looks weird.
Looks weird in red. Scored instantly. Right after that, a couple of minutes later in the first period, Elias Lindholm tips in not one but 2 goals on the power play and was a key factor, just defensively overall.
Elias Lindholm is just that guy who's gonna do everything for you. So that is why the trade went down. Elias Lindholm, net front presence in the power play, and now just 2 tip-in goals on the power play. Just added another element of or another way this power play can score, with just shots on net. Just the fundamental way, basically.
Yeah, and he fits that. He fit him and PD could probably play more matchup now for sure because he couldn't do that with Kuzmenko. And hopefully this gets Mikheyev going because it probably fits him more than Kuzmenko
yeah,
does.
even like we're not saying Mikheyev to be offensively, like do your job defensively as well, right? Because now with Lindholm, sulky conversations. Obviously, PD's been in sulky conversations the last couple of years now. Here's a defensive game has proved a lot. Mikheyev you brought in just for penalty kill and speed reasons as well, which is the main reason.
So this concerns us all.
Oh yeah, and the only this line right should match up well against any line. Like could be a shutdown line for a top line against anyone else in the league, right? And it could be used as that line for sure, and it could also be used as it's going to be used as one of your main offensive output lines as well.
Yeah. You mentioned sulky, Greg Wyshynski. He released once again on ESPN the award watch, I believe. So you guys could check that out. We're not gonna do spoilers. You could check it on your own time. I forgot to tell you it was out,
Yeah.
but make sure you go on
I'll
Twitter.
check it out. Yeah.
Twitter more. But and trade deadline for that, we already discussed the issues and pros and cons about it. But the trade deadline will be in the beginning of March, so still a month away. Let's end it off with the MLB signings, and I think it's signings. No trades happen.
Signings, yeah. We'll start off.
So off
with
the bat, let's start off with the first one that came on the timeline. Bobby Witt Jr., 11-year extension, $288.7 million with the Royals. Obviously deserved. Obviously risk-free for Kansas City. Well, it's still risky for Kansas City. But you do it early because Bobby Witt Jr. has been good for the last year. One of the fastest guys in the league. Last 2 years, sorry.
Like he's been up there.
He's the face of the franchise right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Bobby Witt Jr. has been up there in steals. He's been up there. He's just a perfect leadoff guy.
Yeah.
He's really a good leadoff guy in my opinion.
So there are 4 player opt-outs after
he could
years.
honestly, like, I think he could bat and you in the lineup, but with his speed and stuff, I think he's good with his leadoff.
There are 4 player opt-outs after years 7, 8, 9, and 10.
I don't know. I just got excited for the signing.
I know. A lot. Bobby Witt Jr. is like, obviously we don't watch much Kansas City, but when you watch
When
Bobby Witt Jr.,
bro, he's incredible.
And his highlights always pop up. So makes sense for him, 100%. So hopefully they could turn their franchise around a little bit, and we'll see how it goes. Speaking of a potential guy who should have gotten a long-term extension maybe in the past but didn't, Vladdy won his arbitration case, which is 19.9 million was his case. Blue Jays wanted to give him 18. He ended up winning it. Little surprised by that. Just have a good year this year because at this point the Blue Jays are not making any
We're
moves.
desperate.
We're not making
as
moves.
fans.
And I just
we're
hope
very
you guys
desperate.
are right that last year's a fluke, and that's about it. You guys could check out our reaction last episode. We might drop a clip on it this week, so check that out as well. The other news, signing wise, was Clayton Kershaw, who we thought was no longer gonna be a Dodger, is returning for 1 year, or bringing back to the club in 2024 with a player option for 2025. So it could be potentially 2 years. So he might be in a pitching staff with Ohtani next year, maybe. Yeah, but for now, it's him, Glasnow, James Paxton, Walker Buehler.
You got Dustin May. You got Yamamoto.
And Yamamoto, that's what it was.
Yeah, they
have options.
Or whoever they have.
And they potentially could have Ohtani the year after.
Whatever pitcher you can name, they probably have.
So,
all right, moving on. Astros extended Jose Altuve 5-year, $125 million contract. Altuve was going to be a free agent. And, Altuve is an Astro. Like, where else are you going to see him?
How old is he?
Huh?
I'm trying to see his age.
He's in his 30s, bro.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? The Astros, the way they announced it, it literally says he will be an Astro for life.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure this is
his last he's old.
contract.
Altuve is old.
Yeah. So this will be his last contract. He's probably the greatest player, at least in our lifetime. I know in the past they had Roger Clemens, Roy Oswalt, Lance Berkman, Craig Biggio, and all these guys. But obviously Altuve, probably a Hall of Famer. Will be up there with Craig Biggio.
I mean, is this like the way the MLB the baseball Hall of Fame works? I can't guarantee Altuve being a Hall of Famer.
But I feel like he is.
I don't
know. I get it. One of them was tainted.
They always have. They
have that name on their legacy.
The baseball Hall of Fame always finds a way to make
finding a way not to put cheaters in. I know
exactly. Yeah.
Some way somehow. So
yeah.
I think he's a Hall of Famer as a player.
Oh yeah, I'll give it to him for sure.
So we'll see how it goes. But he's obviously up there in the Houston Astros Hall of Fame for sure. Houston probably their best player ever. So we'll see. Outside of that, no other signings. I think they're saying Chapman should be close. A couple of other players should be close. We're about a couple of weeks away where players start to report. So little surprised that Blake Snell doesn't have a job, especially him. That's the main one for me.
Yeah, especially coming off a Cy Young year.
I understand why the other Bellinger and
he was a Cy Young.
Exactly. I understand why Bellinger and Chapman don't have jobs yet because they're more risky contracts. I think Blake Snell, like I said last time, is asking for like 9 years or something, and then the Yankees are the only ones to offer him 6 years. And it's compared to the price, it would be 6 years, 150 to 9 years.
Yeah,
like
there's no issue. Snell is no issue with the dollar value.
The problem is his age.
It's the years.
Yeah,
so the issue is the years. Like dollar value, I'll pay Snell.
Yeah.
Right. I'll give him the 30 million, whatever he's asking for. Right. The issue is how long you want to pay him for. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I think I finish. We're done with MLB.
Yeah.
Very quickly, Teofimo Lopez fights tomorrow because usually Super Bowl week fights happen on a Thursday, so we probably will try to watch that tomorrow night or tonight, I guess in this case. And I think that's the main one. Yeah, that's the only one that I could talk about. So outside of that, though,
That wraps up everything, bro.
yeah, that wraps up everything. I was thinking something about UFC, but no.
I don't think there's anything. Yeah. So
Okay.
that wraps up today's pod, guys.
That wraps it up. Again, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. We're almost there at 400. I'll check right now if it's
We're 5 away.
we're 5 away. So please, by next episode, try to help us get there. Again, we've been dropping different types of content for you guys. We are 5 away still. Make sure you guys go check that OKC video out. OKC fans, you will enjoy it. I promise you that. OKC haters, I know there might be one on the comments right now that said
You will still enjoy it.
you will still enjoy it, to at least hate on it, but outside of that, a lot of effort went into that video. Both of us, mainly him, as well, with the editing. So make sure you guys tune in. We like the original. The support so far has been great. Make sure you guys continue that support. The Canucks video, the first ever video that we dropped about the Canucks, is almost at 10,000 views as well. So we appreciate you guys once again. We could not do this without you guys, keeping us motivated for sure. Keep an eye out on some other videos coming out this week. That being said, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Peace.